Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today I'm going to talk about Silence Fallen by Patricia Briggs, and this is book 10 in the Mercy Thompson series. So, in this book, Mercy is abducted by, the most powerful vampire in the world, and she is brought, halfway across the world by said vampire. And of course, Mercy being Mercy, she does manage to escape this vampire, but she is alone, without any sort of possession, even clothing, without any form of currency, on her own, in a completely foreign country, which she does not speak the language of. So, poor Mercy's got herself quite deep into trouble this time around. And I thought this was a good addition to the series. I liked getting to see a new environment as much as I enjoy the Tri-Cities. It's nice to kind of switch it up from time to time, get a different locale. And there's not much I can talk about without risking spoilers, in my opinion. So I am going to go into a more spoiler bit. So if you have not read Silence Fallen yet, I highly suggest you go and do so now and come back after you read the book. Alright, so spoiler time. Can I just say, I find it hilarious how much Mercy's pack loves playing an online RPG. Just all these werewolves, almost all of which are old, getting so much joy out of a video game and being so competitive with a video game. It's just a funny little touch, and one that I very thoroughly enjoy. I know I could have said that in my non-spoilery bit, but I was afraid I would go on this rambling trail that would potentially lead to spoilers, so I figured let's err on the cautious side. So I am glad that, like I said, we are in a new locale. I also enjoy that we get to see this Lord of the Night guy that Marcella would talk about from time to time in the flesh. And holy crap, he is one manipulative son of a bitch. All these, plans within plans actually was starting to make my head hurt a little bit, because it's just this is way too much for me to take in, especially over such a short span, when at the end it's kind of revealed, yeah, I want you to take out a pretty vampire whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce. I want you to take him out. If not, then I take you out and I solve two birds with one stone. Just all these loops within loops within loops. I'm just okay, that is clever. Kudos to Patty for coming up with all that. But I'm just this is way too much for me to take in. But I still enjoyed it. It was a lot to take in, but I enjoyed it. I don't always enjoy, these, super intricate plans where it's okay, if this happens, I'll do this, if that, da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't always like those, because it's just that's way too complicated for me. I'm not that smart. I definitely am not that smart, so I'm I like things when they're simpler, but from time to time, I do enjoy something a little more complicated like that. And also, it just makes him all the more scary as a character, because it's okay, you can come up with all these plans and backup plans and so on and so forth, which makes you scary, but you're also a lazy vampire. So thank goodness for that, otherwise you would probably have taken over the world by now. And I mean, his plans were scary enough, but what he did to Lenka, is that how you say her name? That's how I was reading it. I am bad with names. What he did to her and her mates was horrifying. That he could break her that much. His cunning put aside, his brutality alone is terrifying. And the two together are just holy hell. Oh, and the fact that he's the reason that Wolf is as unstable as he is. Also terrifying. Oh, and the fact that Wolf was his maker and he did that to his maker is just oh my god, dude, you are a serious boogeyman. I am definitely glad that things worked out and that you are not an enemy of Adam's or Mercy's or anyone at this point. I also like that we got to see some goblins. I believe they were mentioned in Fire Touch briefly, but I don't think there was a lot of mention of them in the previous books besides Fire Touched. So I'm glad we got to see more of them, got to learn a little bit more about them, and it makes me wonder even more what other paranormal, supernatural creatures are out there in this world's universe. But holy heck, I am curious as heck. Alright, going to Mercy and Adam a little bit, I thoroughly enjoyed just how they work together. I do like that Mercy isn't the type of person who sits around and waits to be rescued. She wants to be able to take care of herself. She likes her independence. But at the same time, she does know when she's getting a little over her head. She accepts help when she needs it. And I felt that this book was a good example of that. Yes, she managed to escape from Jacob, the Lord of the Night. She managed to get herself out of his clutches and to safety. Yes, she did manage to take down the Golem of Prague and help take down Mary. A lot of that she didn't do alone. In the end, Adam did have to come and help her out. I like being able to see that she is able to take care of herself, but she is not invincible. She is not a superhuman. She is not a superhero. She still needs help from time to time. And I do like how while Adam worries about Mercy, he feels concerned for her and protective of her. But I like how he managed to kind of rein in that protective urge and not suffocate her, to not treat her like she's made out of glass. Because yes, she is fragile, especially compared to vampires and werewolves, but she is no damsel. And that he acknowledges that, and he does his best not to overstep. He'll step in if he needs to, but not before, like, giving her the chance to do what she needs to do. So I like that. That is, like, relationship goals. And I also like how he's like, I think he said it a few times, it's my privilege to protect her. Like, Mercy doesn't always need his protection, so it's a privilege when he gets to do that. Also, that little twist at the end of Matt Smith, and can I just say, I was giggling every time I read his name, because I like Doctor Who. A few seasons behind on it, but I love Doctor Who. So when Matt Smith gave his name, I'm just like, the Doctor. So I have read this book before. It was a while ago, and I binged through all these books, so I didn't have a chance to review them. So this was a reread for me. Things were fuzzy for me. But I remembered who Matt Smith was. I remembered that he was Bran. So I was like looking for like any little clue or foreshadowing that he was going to be Bran. I do remember a few like lines being like, hey! But for the life of me, I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. But, you know, that was kind of a fun twist to revisit. And how Bran managed to keep himself on the down low for so long. That just attests to his, like, skills, in my opinion, to manage to pretend to be a submissive wolf for that long among enemies, more or less. And to keep his cool and to trick most of the people just makes him all the more, like, I don't know what is a good word to describe Bran, but terrifying would be not completely accurate, but it's up there. I do like the fact that despite the fact that Bran did sever his ties with Mercy's pack, for everyone's protection, for the well-being as werewolves as a whole, he was still willing to risk a potential war to save Mercy. Also, I do like how we find out who Zach is, and that Bran more or less kidnapped him. So I am very curious as to the story behind that, and I do hope we get that at some point, because I want to know now. We found out who Zach was, but it's like, why did Bran kidnap you exactly? And I think Bran said there was more to that story, because Zach didn't hate him for kidnapping him, it was something else. And I'm just like, you answered one thing, but you just brought up more questions. So I am curious. Let's see, Honey. I am loving Honey more and more with each book. Just, she is badass. Like, she is beauty. She is grace. She will kick you in the face. I stand Honey. And what else? What else? What else? I feel there was something else I was going to talk about, but it just totally slipped my mind. So I'm just going to go to the final thing I was going to say. I'm just going to say, Aiden is adorable. The very end of the book when Mercy and Adam are coming home and the garage is like on fire and little Aiden is just like, I put the fire out after I set it. I'll go find somewhere else to live now. And how my heart went out to the guy. I'm trying not to call him a kid because he's not a kid, but my heart went out to him because it's like, you poor thing, you're still so worried they're gonna kick you out. And Mercy in response just being all like, I blew up an apartment building. I think I win. And just how willing they're still willing to keep Aiden around. Not just for his own protection, because they care. And that part did get a real giggle out of me, so yay. Can't remember if there was anything else I wanted to talk about, so I'm gonna stop myself here. For anyone still watching, what'd you think? Did you like this addition to the series? Did you not? Are you kind of in between? What are some parts that you liked that I didn't talk about? Let me know. Let's get a discussion going. So yeah, that is it for this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.